Roseanne. And we're like, what? You wrote an episode of her sitcom. I did?
Oh, she was that high when she did it?
No, she does this treatment now where she gets electrocuted, her head electrocuted.
Thank you for clarifying. That's her head.
And it wipes out chunks of memory. Just gone. She doesn't know what it's going to wipe out. It could be any random moment.
Well, why would she sign up for that?
Because she likes to have fun.
She likes to, hey, man. She wants to party and
she's
take
down
it up
to party. She's down to party.
Let's take it up a notch.
But it's so weird.
So it's electroshock therapy.
Yeah, electroshock therapy. And it wipes out sections of her memory. And she doesn't know where. Like randomly. Like if you were to do it, like it could wipe, you might have no memory of your wrestling season one year.
So I hope it was my sophomore year.
Sophomore year? Is that
4-4. Yeah, it was a dog shit year. 4-4. Only 8 varsity matches, man.
Now,
20 matches varsity as a freshman, 4 as a sophomore.
Were the wrestlers cool when you were in high school?
No, we were all dicks because we were all the only people that did what we did, and we knew that we were separate. And we there's nothing. It's like being on Saturday Night Live. You can't really share it with anybody.
Yeah,
because it's a tiny club. So you get 18 guys in a room, and people like to go like, "Yeah, a bunch of guys laying on each other." Bro, you go to wrestling practice, and you tell me you do that for a month. You don't feel a little superior to the guys playing fucking basketball. They're just shooting. Hit your free throws.
Yeah,
it's like we knew we were doing like crazy ass. Oh, I'll put it this way: on career day when the Marine recruiter came in. And everyone just sits in awe at like his stories. We just sat in the back like, but you can eat, right? We heckled the Marine guy. We heckled him.
Oh, man.
He's like, boot camp, 6 weeks. And we're like, we go 6 months, bro. What's your deal?
I saw a guy lose an arm in a trench. Hey, I saw a guy with no legs win the finals up in Wisconsin.
I had to wrestle a blind guy twice, so kiss my ass.
You seen that wrestler with no legs?
I interviewed him. I interviewed him on Mohr Sports.
Is that fair?
No, it's not.
Because he's got an advantage, right?
He has a huge advantage. He's wrestling at 185, and he probably with legs weighs about 250.
Yeah.
So he's like, oh, that's the other thing too is, I saw a kid wrestle him, and he almost beat him, and it was really weird. Every time the guy, like one guy, I know you know this just for the listener. When you start like on your hands and knees, and the guy with no legs is on quote top.
Yeah,
I guess he's on side. What you do is you jump up, and there's a guy with one leg won a national championship.
Yeah.
So I apologize. I was watching the guy with one leg. Okay, he won a national championship, and he was fighting a guy from Vermont. And when you stand up, you got to explode. Explode is the word they keep using. And the first thing you do once you on your way up is you got to get the wrists and hold the other guy's wrists for wrist control. But the kid from Vermont almost beat this one-legged guy who won the national championship. I think it was Iowa State.
Iowa State. Oh, they always come from there.
Yeah. Because when he exploded up, instead of wrist control, he just started running off the mat because the guy couldn't hop after him. But also, you're not going to out-wrist strength a guy with one leg.
No.
He's kind of had to pull himself around like a goddamn chimpanzee his whole life.
And don't you try to take out the legs of your opponent? If Mother Nature has done that for him, it's just not fair.
He comes when the shoe guy comes by.
Yeah,
he's the only guy that watches a porno and comes when they cut the footlocker.
I can see the locker room, the coach coming. Great news, everybody! We got new wrestling shoes for everybody. Sorry,
buddy.
You can play with the box.
We got you a scarf to wrap around your waist.
Exactly.
Shoot the box, Jimmy. Shoot the box.
So.
Well, you are the expert. People need to know your expertise. As writing goes on Mohr Sports, the TV show, your expertise was whenever somebody died, you would make you would write, there was an awkward moment. It was almost written like for Johnny Carson.
Yeah, exactly.
There was an awkward moment.
I always did like the death jokes because they were always ones I knew no one else was going to do.
High hanging fruit.
Yeah. And it's like that's why I'd say you would love the roast because the writers on the roast, like that room, I remember the first day I walked in, I was so intimidated. I'm like, these guys are amazing. They're so quick. And I was a little depressed at first, and I was like, wait a minute. You can be the worst guy in the room, but you're in the room. Like, there's a worse guy on the Yankees. and I got excited and got my confidence on me. But the whole key to surviving in the roast world is different angles. And that's like Roseanne Fat jokes. Those are gone after the first day of writing jokes because everyone knows we got plenty of those. Let's go someplace different. Let's talk about her nuts. Like she grows nuts.
In Hawaii.
Yeah. And her husband, Johnny Argent. Is that the greatest name ever?
Johnny Money.
Johnny Argent. I want you to do my favorite impression. Did you know who it is?
No.
Luis Guzman.
Personally?
Yeah, hold on, wait. Because you talk about the wrestling, that made me laugh. So do...
The one-legged guy looks like Luis Guzman, and the no-legged guy, they both look like... What if Luis Guzman had no legs wrestling, but the exact same gut? I'm wrestling heavyweight, but personally, I have to wrestle heavyweight this year because I just can't lose it. I've done lost enough.
You know who Luis...
I'm sorry, what do you want me to do?
I want you to do Luis being the wrestling coach, telling a wrestler, he's got to fight the no-legged guy. What's the game plan?
All right, listen. Normally... You know, it's funny. I texted Luis about being on the fight. All right, sorry. Okay.
So you can't do it.
I can do it. I just can't get it out because I'm laughing too hard. I need a couple takes at it. I can totally do it. Okay, normally at that time, I would tell you to shoot his legs because he's getting tired. He's not going to be able to sprawl so well. But look, mijo, he ain't got no legs. So you got to learn how to flip him or something, man. You better learn how to flip him or something and come back, and then we'll go get nice.
Love it.
Normally, I would tell you to shoot the legs right now, mijo. I'm telling you, puppy. You got to do... What are you going to fireman's carry? There's nothing to shoot through.
Is his head as big as you think? He's got the largest head.
No, it didn't really strike. Not as big. We get an intern on the radio show that we call Brain.
Oh, yeah, I saw that guy. Good Lord.
You just started laughing. But we don't call him Brain because of the size of his head. It just sort of... It came hand in glove. Because one day I was going to the phones... And I said, Brain, Lancaster, Brain. He goes, it's Brian. The guy was all mad. And then we asked him, we said, my boss, Don, goes, hey, man, you know, you got these collars wrong. It's the only thing. He goes, I know, you know, I'm just not good with names. But it's really because you saw him. He's like Mr. Clean. He's like this giant, bald Latino guy.
Yeah, he's got a giant head.
Yeah, he's like George Animal Steel if George Animal Steel was bigger.
Guy wanted to wear a cap, he'd need a hot air balloon.
If he died, there'd be an awkward moment at his funeral when what?
When the pallbearers had to sit on the casket to get close. There you go.
John Holland Mohr. Your Twitter address is what?
At J Holland Mohr.
At J Holland Mohr. Is that a prerequisite for writers to follow 5,000 people?
Yeah.
It really is?
People. Not a prerequisite, but there's so many funny people on Twitter.
But do you follow them because you could write something about it down the line?
I just like laughing.
Really?
Yeah. You know, women are great on Twitter. Like, women are better than men.
You're following Jenny Mullen.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Jenny and Teets.
She's hysterical. You heard a period story?
No.
Dude, she goes in to pitch a movie. You're having her on the podcast, aren't you?
Yeah, we already did it. You're following her.
You didn't talk to periods? Oh.
We talked about binging. She said when you throw up when you're a purger, bulimic, she said it's the same feeling as an orgasm.
Really?
And I said, but with vomit. She said, yes.
Well, sometimes they're not separate.
And she said you feel superior to everyone else because you've accomplished something. You've completely eaten 5 plates and then you puked it all up. You feel superior. And I was like, because you didn't use your asshole? Because you used your mouth hole as an asshole? And she was like, yes. I kept trying to call her to the carpet, but she was like, no, that's exactly it.
Oh, my goodness.
Anyway, so what's the period story?
To make it short, you know, she's told this before, but she goes in to pitch a show or movie, big meeting, sitting on a white couch, starts to stand up, gets her period, realize she left a period stain on the couch.
How's that bleed through the pants and everything? She's a goddamn musket woman.
I guess. I don't know. You know, I've never had a period myself, so I'm not quite sure how all the plumbing and hoo-ha's work.
I was your boss, so you know I've had quite a few periods.
Yeah. You've had a few periods. There's no doubt about it. But she's got to tell that story. Do you remember?
What happened? Well, how did she cover?
She just sat there for a really long time, and like the meeting kept trying to end, and she wouldn't leave. And finally, she just had to say, "You're going to have to turn the cushion over on this couch
because I perioded myself."
And it's like, that's the worst meeting ever.
Or the best. They'll never forget her.
Yeah. Yeah, that's for sure.
My dog had her period on me once. I had a puppy that wasn't supposed. I got a Pomeranian puppy. It's not supposed to have its period yet. And I was holding the dog, and it was like 8 months old. And I know puberty for a person between like 11 and 14. I can ballpark it from health class. But a puppy, like, it's still so itty bitty, and it weighed like 2 pounds. And I'm watching TV. I was watching fights. I was watching Nate Diaz and Benson Henderson. I'm watching UFC, and I'm going, I got all this fucking chocolate all over me, man. I swear to God. Because I was eating like crazy chocolate. Just watching the fight.
Tell me you didn't lick your fingers.
No, I did not. But I had like Hershey's Kisses, and I would open like 3 of them, and I put them in my mouth, like chewing them back, like Copenhagen. I just put them between my cheek and
gum.
That's
the best way to eat them.
Let my teeth rot.
It's the best way.
And I'm like, man, and it's all over the dog now. It's all over the dog. And then finally my wife comes downstairs and goes, Jesus Christ, Norma got her period.
Oh, man.
And I go, what? And I just launched the dog. And now I got to try to take my clothing off. Drunks know this from vomiting. You got to take your clothing off without your clothing touching your face on the way up.
Oh.
So no, I've never had a meeting where that's happening.
You know how dumb I am? I did not realize dogs had periods until this moment. I swear. I guess they do. It never crossed my mind that a dog would have a period.
You have to put diapers on.
Yeah, you got Matty Boy as a fair point. You didn't know that you put diapers on a dog. When your dog goes into heat, what do you think that is?
I had no idea. I thought they just were horny.
They're real horny.
But I didn't know they had periods.
One of them has just got done bleeding out and they're ready to fuck it.
Well, how come you never see it?
Because you fixed them. Bob Barker, spay and neuter your pets. The man had a message, John.
But you would think there would
Bob
be
Barker died. There was an awkward moment. Bob Barker, of course, hosted Price is Right.
Price is Right.
There was a very awkward moment at his funeral when...
Oh, man.
All right. I'll let you... You want to come back to it?
We'll come back to that. We'll end it with that
Something with Plinko, something with the Billy Goat, Mountain Climber game, the wheel.
Why wouldn't you see like puddles of blood?
They're not bludgeoning the dog. The dog is releasing non-used eggs.
But wouldn't you see that somewhere on the street or something?
Dog blood, period?
Yeah, they pee everywhere. What's the difference?
But don't you think when your dog is bleeding out of its vagina, you go, ooh, I should probably fix my dog. It's bleeding out of its vagina.
To be honest, I would never even notice it. Because I'm going to give the dog privacy when it takes a squat. I'm not going to stare at it.
Well, yeah, but when it's on your couch after a pitch meeting...
Ugh.
What if your dog's pitching you a show and bleeds all over your couch? Wouldn't you have it fixed?
Yeah.
My aunt bred boxer dogs. See, all the way back to Mike Tyson. Boxer dogs. And you don't want them fixed. You want them another period because they got knocked up and you get money for the puppies, right?
Yeah.
So every month, the dogs would walk around the house with underpants and a maxi pad in it. And you'd have to change the dog's maxi pad.
How have I not seen a dog with a maxi pad on?
Google search and send it to John Holland Mohr, a picture of your dog while having its period at J
Holland Mohr, and no photoshops. I want to see.
No, they won't. They sent so many dick pictures to me and Greg Fitzsimmons.
Yeah, don't do that.
So if you could send a picture of a dog, because John Mohr actually doesn't believe dogs have periods.
So to further go on my stupidity here that I'm just realizing now,
I didn't know there were dogs, man.
I guess all animals have periods.
I don't know how it works in the fish world.
No, fish probably not, but I guess
I've never seen an alligator bleed out. Frogs, I don't know.
Frogs have periods?
I don't know. I'm thinking anything that gives a vaginal birth because of an egg that gets fertilized. When that egg goes bad, your body does a clot drop and releases the egg onto the floor.
There should be a website. Animals getting their periods. Hippos, giraffes.
What? Matty Boy said birds are the most dangerous. You got blood on your windshield. Everybody thinks you're Ray Carruth.
Have you ever seen a hippo?
Nothing from you? Jesus Christ. Too soon?
Too soon.
Too old.
Have you ever seen...
That guy's been in the hole 10 years. Nobody even gives a shit.
Well, is he still in jail?
Bro, no.
What?
Double murder, one of them the baby?
Don't get me started on Ravens.
Ray Lewis?
Yeah, don't get me started.
You know that's my man.
I know.
You think he got away with murder?
Absolutely.
You think Ray Lewis actually stabbed people with his hands?
Not a doubt in my mind.
He didn't use a knife even, just with his hands.
Just his hands. With his hands.
No hook. Just a hook he hit me with. No hand.
Yeah, I think he did. and it kills me because he seems like a good guy. Like he's changed. I don't